He was feared by the West, but loved by many of his people. He was mocked by the global media, but hailed as a revolutionary in Africa. This is the story of Muammar Gaddafi, the man who transformed Libya and dared to change the global order. Born in the Ash Desert in 1942, Gaddafi came from humble beginnings. A Bedouin child raised in a tent, he knew poverty firsthand. Inspired by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser and Arab nationalism, the young Gaddafi entered military school and quickly rose through the ranks. In 1969, at the age of just 27, he led a bloodless coup that overthrew King Idris. A new Libya was born, one no longer under the thumb of Western puppeteers. Gaddafi abolished the monarchy, shut down foreign military bases, and gave Libyans a sense of ownership over their own country for the first time. Gaddafi's vision for Libya was bold. He used the country's vast oil wealth not to enrich a few elites, but to uplift the masses. Under Gaddafi's rule, healthcare became free. Education became free. Newlyweds were gifted apartments by the state. Electricity was provided at no cost. Even petrol cost less than bottled water. The illiteracy rate plummeted, life expectancy increased, and Libya rose to become one of Africa's most developed nations. Then came its most ambitious project, the Great Man-Made River, a massive engineering feat designed to bring fresh water from the Sahara to Libya's city and farmlands. A marvel of modern technology, it was dubbed the eighth wonder of the world. But Gaddafi's dream did not stop at Libya's borders. Gaddafi envisioned a strong, united Africa, free from chains of colonialism and death. He called for the creation of the United States of Africa with a single government, one military, and most importantly, a single currency backed by gold. This currency would challenge the dominance of the US dollar and the euro, shaking the foundations of global financial power. To many African leaders, this vision was inspiring, but to the Western powers, it was dangerous. They had long benefited from Africa's division, its dependency, and its submission. Now, one man was daring to break the cycle, and that made him a threat. As Gaddafi's influence in Africa grew, the Western world became uneasy. The same power that once shook his hand in secret now began plotting his downfall. The international media turned against him, painting Gaddafi as a madman, a tyrant, a dictator. Stories were spread, some true, many exaggerated, others entirely fabricated. Hollywood mocked him. News channels demonized him. Even some Africans exposed to recently propaganda began to question his leadership. But behind the noise, the real reason for the backlash was clear. He was disrupting the status quo. Gaddafi's calls to abandon the IMF and World Bank, to create an African central bank and to sell oil for gold instead of dollars, all of it challenged the very heart of global economic control. It was no longer just a Libyan problem. It was now a global threat to Western dominance. In 2011, amidst the chaos of the Arab Spring, NATO and Western-backed forces found the opportunity. Under the guise of protecting civilians, Libya was bombarded from the sky. Entire cities were reduced to rubble. Infrastructure Gaddafi built over 4 decades was destroyed in weeks. The media portrayed it as a revolution. In reality, it was a foreign intervention. Gaddafi, ever defiant, refused to flee his country. He said, "I will die a martyr." And on October 20, 2011, in his hometown, that prophecy came true. He was captured, beaten, and executed on the streets. The footages of his death, brutal and humiliating, was broadcast worldwide. The message was clear. This is what happens when you defy the empire. After Gaddafi's fall, Libya descended into chaos. A once stable nation fractured into tribal wars, with rival government, militias, and extremists battling for control. The healthcare system collapsed. Education stalled. Clean water became scarce. Human trafficking boomed, and Libya became a hub for modern-day slavery. Today, many Libyans look back at Gaddafi's era, not with hatred, but with nostalgia. For all his faults, under his rule, Libya was safe, prosperous, and proud. History is written by the victors and often twisted by their pen. But the truth about Gaddafi is more complex than a caricature sold by the media. He was a visionary, a revolutionary, a man who dared to dream of an Africa that stood tall, united, and independent. His death was not just the fall of a man, it was the silencing of a powerful African voice, and yet his ideas still live on. In every call for African unity, in every effort to escape economic dependency, in every dream of liberation, Gaddafi's spirit echoes. Maybe one day, the world will look back and see him not just as a controversial leader, but as a man ahead of his time. Muammar Gaddafi, revolutionary, visionary, and martyr. This was his story. As we look to the future, it is essential that we preserve and protect our cultural heritage, including the history and artifacts of our ancestors. These incredible stories serves as a reminder of our shared history, cultural identity, and ingenuity of our ancestors. Join me in celebrating the rich cultural heritage of Africa. Subscribe to my channel for more documentaries and share this video with your friends and family. Together, let's preserve our cultural legacy for future generations.